All right, so there's two things I want to talk about. One is using a pen, a Wacom pen. You can use a mouse for what I'm going to show you, okay? Because I want to talk about drawing shapes instead of using the ellipse, the square, making rectangles, and all that geometric stuff. Why not draw? And it really helps to have one of these, okay? They're pretty cheap. Use them. I used to use them all the time until I got more into data entry. The other thing I want to talk about real quickly is using photographs. Now, I'm not going to be montaging photographs. I'm still talking abstraction here. I'm still talking about making abstract designs. And I know some of you are like, oh God, I hate abstraction, right? I just want to make scenes and forms and representational stuff. But it's good to practice and it's good to learn. So, because believe me, you should be able to take that representational design that you've made, turn it upside down, and it should still work compositionally. And that's why we work abstractly at first. So you don't get hung up with, it doesn't look like a car, or the tree has to be there. We want you to be able to move things around. So first thing is this. Let me just show you. This is from the mid-90s, right, when I was teaching new media. And this first assignment for abstractions, here you can see freeform shapes. I don't see a lot of that. I see a lot of people just using ellipses and squares and things and lines and stuff. And I ask myself, why? Why don't people draw forms like this? Let's look at another one. No, that's a different assignment. Hold on. There, kind of whimsical line work, right? Kind of heraldic there. And we get into some more geometric stuff, pattern, texture. But here, how about a combination? How about combining some geometric stuff with some freeform drawing? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. And what I'm going to be showing you as well here in dragging and dropping from a photograph, you can make some mega cool abstractions. Look at that. Not so much that. That's pretty nice. That is awesome. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, first of all, let's talk about drawing. You may, create a new layer, and you're going to use the lasso tool. And here you're just going to, you got to have patience. You're creative and artistic. You got to like to draw. You got to like to make lines and stuff. To me, this is like topographical. It's like the edge of a leaf. And I can make that shape, and I can add to it by holding down the shift key. You see that little plus sign? And I can add to it. And I always ask people, they're bored already, It's like, how when kids are bored, they get bored. And, okay, fine. And so I'm like, you obviously just didn't take time. Look at I'm zooming in and I'm adding things. So it depends on how creative you want to get. Now I can zoom in and out with my Command minus and Command plus, right? So you can see a form there, and since we are working with grays, I am going to go ahead and do a mid gray there, and I'm going to fill it with Option Delete. And it's actually feathered. I don't want it to be feathered, so that was something that I don't want. Sorry about that. I don't want the dodge tool either. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's go back to feather, and actually we want feather set to 0. So we'll do another one, right? So I guess what I'm telling you is, and you could do this with your mouse, of course, is draw, right? Let me fill this, and let me add another one. Ooh, I like that. Look at that. See, I'm not obsessing over, oh, I'm loving that. Yeah. And I can make those, of course, whoops, different. I actually don't like this guy anymore. Okay, so I'm going to delete him. And of course, I can be, what I should be doing if I was smart is adding a layer, going to my marquee, which is M, drawing a line, filling, adding a layer, drawing a line, filling, Control U, darkening. Okay, making a beautiful series of, look at those undulating shapes, those undulating lines. And if they're on different layers, look at this. I can combine them, make some really, I mean, to me, they're beautiful forms. So anyway, now, so let's group those and move them over, right? Now, how do you right click with a, okay, there we go, with a pen? Link those layers, let's move these guys over, okay? Now, I told you I was going to talk about, using photographs. One of the neat things that I like to experiment with with new media and using photographs is just randomly selecting stuff with your magic wand with a high, usually I'd scan high and drag low. That's what I tell my students. So, this should be like a 600 DPI image. It's not, it's just a higher res photograph. But again, you can see that, that's a little too much tree-like. That's a little too tree-like. Let me go over here and just grab something. Let me grab that. Look at that great abstract shape, right? I'm going to drag that over. Ooh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Control U, desaturate it because we're not working in color yet. I try Apple I. Sometimes I like to invert things, kind of like that. Change where they are in the layers. Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to get across is that you can very playfully, I don't know where that came from, you can be very playful in where you get your shapes and drag them over, and you can start, if you're a painter, or if you like drawing, or if you understand abstraction, or if you just like making designs, you can get those shapes, okay, from different places and drag them over to your composition. And if you're not using color, then you can desaturate them. You can control the lightness and the darkness, right? And you can change, of course, their size, okay? And you can just keep going and going and going and going. Okay, now, one more trick related to some of those designs I showed you. Once you get a bunch of, let me drag a couple more things over here. Magic wand is the W, so let me drag that over, and let me Apple I. Nah, I don't like that, but let's make it gray, desaturate it, okay, and let's maybe copy this over and change the size, okay. Because what I want to do is show you one other little kind of a cool trick that we get into in making textures, okay? Now, I am going to, if I wanted to save this for whatever reason, I would do a file save, and I'd save it as design1 PSD, right? I am going to get crazy, and I'm just going to flatten this whole thing, just to show you a little trick. I'm going to flatten the whole thing, Command A, Command T, I'm going to resize it, and I'm going to flip it, okay? I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to flip it. A couple of ways I could do this. Now, V, I'm going to move it over. I'm going to do an Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal, and I'm going to move it up. I like to hide the marquee with an Apple H, Control H. And here's where I would probably crop it. I'm old school. I tend to crop with the selection. I do image crop. Boom. Okay. Now, I mean, I'm kind of like, I love like the Rorschach test kind of stuff. I could do this too. Watch. I can do an image. I can do an edit. What is it? Image rotation 90-degree clockwise. And let me change the image size real quick. So the height's only maybe 600, and I'm going to make the canvas size. Now this is just another way to do what we just looked at before. Okay, and here I'm going to copy, paste. I'm going to bring this over, edit, transform, flip horizontal. Got a little line in there. Something happened that's a little bit wonky, right? Kind of looks like a Japanese screen or something you'd see. Oh wait, no, there. Oh, we got a little line in there. That's okay. All right, fine. So to sum up, dragging things over from your photographs to make these shapes. combining, flattening, flipping, and making mirror images. And believe me, I could keep doing this 20 more times or more and get it down to where it's just, a very tight kind of a texture. But then a lot of times this will give you the option of going back in there, and maybe you want to add something, maybe you want to add something with a gradient in it, right? Or maybe you want to go in and, draw into it with a shape, of your own. So there's really no limit, but just these basic tools. Again, using your stylus to draw freeform shapes, okay? Dragging shapes over, being able to link them, being able to flatten, flip, combine, and then go back in. It's a process of, you can see I draw on it, I flatten it, I'll go, geometric, and then I'll destroy everything and bring it back to life and just keep working on it until I get a composition that I'm satisfied with. But I did want to show you that. And one last thing, I'm always telling you one last thing, Control A, Control C. With my magic wand, I am going to select the black there. Watch this. Edit, transform. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Edit, paste special, paste into. It just pasted whatever texture I had into the black. Okay? So I'm pasting into a selection, and now I don't have just a solid black shape there anymore. You can paste into itself, right? So anyway, have fun with that. I wanted to share that and see what you can come up with. Get your creative juices flowing there.